So this week we are going to continue our investigation into the Biden family finances. If you were with us last week, you know we've made a lot of progress here. We're breaking stories almost every day. I had a column yesterday, and it's still posted on BillO'Reilly.com, bringing you up to date. If you have not followed us, all you have to do is read that column. It's free for everybody, BillO'Reilly.com, and you'll be with us. If you are a premium or concierge member on BillO'Reilly.com, you can get transcripts of every broadcast free. So tonight, for the talking points, we're going to deal with what Congress is doing. Remember, the Justice Department wants no part of this investigation. So it's up to Congress to enlighten the American people about what is going on. So there are three investigations in the House: Oversight, Judiciary, Ways and Means. And they're working together. They're all probing what happened, how much money went into the Biden family, on and on and on and on. There are no hearings, formal hearings this week. However, FBI Chief Christopher Wray is set to testify on Wednesday, 10 a.m., House Judiciary Committee, and I'm sure he's going to be asked some questions about this. I'd be crazy if he isn't. And we're all over that, okay? Now, Wray, as I mentioned before, has a tendency to say, I can't say anything, it's under investigation every time. It's like the Fifth Amendment, okay? That's what he usually does, Wray. And I'm not expecting him to do anything different, but maybe he'll surprise us and look out for you and me and bring us up to speed on why the FBI is now perceived to be a corrupt institution, which is tragic for this country. So that's a big day on Wednesday. Okay. So right now we have two IRS whistleblowers in play. You probably know this. One is named Gary Shapley. He's already testified under oath, and another unidentified IRS agent who is expected to testify shortly. Okay? And these people basically say that Hunter Biden got lenient treatment, that they weren't really interested, the Justice Department, in finding out what he did and how he did it. That's the testimony by these two whistleblowers. There is another FBI informant who is anonymous, confidential, who has gone to Senator Grassley of Iowa and Congressman Comer of Kentucky and alleged the FBI has information about the Biden family and about the president himself. Now, remember, due process is very, very important here. Very important. Can't convict based on allegations. That's not fair. It's not right. We don't do that. But this is mounting. It's building. Okay? Now, as far as the Justice Department is concerned, Merrick Garland, and we have proven that, he doesn't want to know. And there's nothing you can do about that other than impeach Merrick Garland, which may happen. And once again, if articles of impeachment are brought up against the Attorney General, they would start in the House. I believe they would pass, but then they go into the Senate controlled by the Democrats, and they wouldn't convict Merrick Garland. But the exercise on why Garland's being impeached would force the media to cover the story, because the story is not being covered now. Media doesn't want any part of Hunter Biden or Joe Biden's finances. They won't cover it. So we showed you what NBC News did last week. They interviewed Biden. No questions about Hunter. Over the weekend, Fareed Zakaria, CNN, he interviewed Biden. No questions about Hunter. Roll the tape.
Finally, Mr. President, you've often said when people ask you about your age, just watch me. And I think a lot of people do watch you and are impressed, and they think you've been a great president.
Fawning doesn't even come close. Fareed Zakaria kissed the president's butt for about a half an hour. That's all he did. It was humiliating. Just a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, that couldn't have happened. Zakaria would have been laughed out of the business, the media business. He didn't ask one question about Hunter, neither did NBC News. That tells me, I can't prove it, that the White House is saying you can interview Biden, but you can't ask him about Hunter or anything like that. That's what that tells me. Because surely NBC News and CNN understand that by not asking Biden about 3 congressional investigations, that's a dereliction of duty on their part. They have to understand it. It's just shocking. It's shocking. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin to comment on my column that I wrote yesterday and the investigations by the House. First, I have to ask you, you are the ranking member of the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, which I think is the most important Senate committee in existence because you have oversight on corruption, okay? And you're the second ranking member. If the Senate goes to the Republicans in 24, you'll be the chairman. The chairman now is Richard Blumenthal, the liberal Democrat from Kentucky. He doesn't want any part of this Biden stuff, correct?
No, he doesn't. And last time we were in the majority, I was chairman of the full committee, the Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs. I was working with Senator Grassley, then chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and we were investigating Hunter Biden. I did not have the support of my Republican colleagues on my committee, or we didn't have the support of our conference to, for example, subpoena the Bidens. Thought it was too political in 2020.
Why didn't the Republicans on your committee support you in issuing the subpoenas?
They thought it was too political during a political campaign.
So they thought the American people would see it as a political thing and go against the Republican Party. That's it.
Right. We issued our report in September of 2020. It was widely ignored by the media, but all through 2020, both Senator Grassley and I were accused by the media, by our Democrat colleagues, of soliciting and disseminating Russian disinformation, even though our report was completely based on U.S. records, Treasury records, suspicious activity reports. In September 2020, we laid out the vast web of foreign financial entanglements, the millions of dollars of transactions with CEFC, Burisma, Russia. We pretty well laid this out. The House is building on the record we provided, but the FBI was completely unhelpful. They sabotaged our efforts as well.
Unbelievable. So have you ever talked to Blumenthal about, I know there's a collegiality in the Senate, and there should be. I mean, you guys need to talk to each other, and you don't want to be yelling at each other. It's not the Civil War, the run up to the Civil War. But have you ever talked to Blumenthal and say, look, just for the American people's sake, let's try to clarify all of these unanswered questions about the Biden family finances? Have you said that to him?
Senator Blumenthal wrote an article that the Washington Post ran in 2020, again, accusing us of soliciting Russian disinformation. And said that
he hasn't changed his mind.
Yeah.
He hasn't changed.
He literally said the CIA thought I was so dangerous they wouldn't even brief me. They wouldn't brief us because we'd already been briefed, for example, on Andrei Teleshenko. So no, Bill, throughout 2020, the media, our Democrat colleagues were interfering in then the FBI were interfering in our investigation.
And nothing's changed.
Disclosing what was happening to the Bidens.
Nothing's changed, even though we have whistleblowers, we have, nothing's changed at all, nothing. They not interested, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, did you know about Fatima Graves, the wife of the U.S. attorney that we uncovered has visited the Biden White House 28 times, and her husband, Matthew Graves, refused to cooperate with the U.S. attorney in Delaware on the Hunter Biden situation? Did you know about Fatima Graves?
No, that was your scoop, and that's why we need investigative reporters like yourself to help us. We need the whistleblowers. And we are fortunately getting more and more whistleblowers. We have people like you that are digging up this information, building on the evidence that Senator Grassley and I put out there. But Bill, there are literally 3 scandals here. You have the Biden family corruption. You have the corruption of the FBI and Department of Justice. And then you, of course, have the corruption of the complicit and corrupt mainstream media who won't cover this story.
It is very troubling to people, and I'm going to take ideology out of this. I mean, we want an honest country. It's beyond any reasonable doubt the FBI has been corrupted. Beyond any reasonable doubt, they have been corrupted. And now you have the media. There's nothing anybody can do about the media because the First Amendment protects the media. The corporations have taken it over, and independent journalists like me have to do the heavy lifting now because the corporations order their people not to. And there's nothing anybody can do about that, but you can do stuff. about the Attorney General of the United States, Merrick Garland. So this brings me to impeachment. You have access to the Republican-controlled House. Is that bubbling up, impeachment against Merrick Garland?
I think it's a real possibility. We're going to have to sort out who's telling the truth between David Weiss and Merrick Garland when Merrick Garland said that he had complete authority. And then David Weiss, of course, wrote 2 letters to Jim Jordan that are also contradictory. That in one case said that he had full authority, and then he hedges his bets on June 30th. The problem, Bill, is that the process has been set up, the procedures within FBI and the Department of Justice to basically insulate themselves from scrutiny. You said it earlier in your opening there. They always use the excuse, well, there's an active investigation, so we can't share this information with Congress. Now, we were frustrated because we had the John Durham investigation. And so we couldn't get the documents that we had subpoenaed Christopher Wray to turn over, even though the President of the United States, Donald Trump, wanted those documents turned over. So again, the Department of Justice, the FBI have insulated themselves from effective scrutiny. And how do you investigate the premier investigatory agency of
Congress has to do it. It's the only body that can do it.
Hold accountable the chief law enforcement.
Let me offer this. Let me offer this, because I know you talked to Comer and Jordan and all of those people. You've got a situation where Merrick Garland, under oath, tells the House, look, I gave Weiss full authority in this investigation. He's under oath saying that, right? 2 U.S. attorneys were requested in writing. Matthew Graves, who's we referred to with his wife Fatima going to the White House 28 times, and Martin Estrada in California, because her allegations that Hunter Biden received foreign money in both of those places. Weiss asked both of those U.S. attorneys to cooperate, partner with him. They refused. Merrick Garland could have ordered them to cooperate. Merrick Garland is their boss. That's where you go. That's how you get Garland.
Well, and now we also have the IRS whistleblower,
Okay, but wait. Well, let's get to that in a moment.
Okay.
Because Garland's hanging out there now. You see what I mean? This is what frustrates me. He's hanging out there saying, oh, no, Weiss had full authority when he himself could have ordered those 2 men to cooperate with Weiss and did not.
Right.
Now, cover up is,
the reason I mentioned Shapley is he was in the meetings where basically Weiss said, I don't have the authority. So we've got, I think, enough evidence that the House should hold hearings, impeachment hearings, not only on Garland. They ought to hold impeachment hearings on Mayorkas and also on Anthony Blinken, who lied to my investigators when he said he never emailed Hunter Biden. Bill, there is so much here.
Oh, I know.
To really hang these guys on. But unfortunately, I lost my chairmanship. We don't have the subpoena authority. And as you said, Blumenthal, Wyden, these folks have no interest. Gary Peters, they have no interest in investigating this. So we have to rely on the House. And by the way, we're working with Comer and Jordan to provide what information we know to help them prepare for their interviews.
Now, the key question to all of this, as I wrote in my column, and again, I hope people go and take the time to read the column on BillO'Reilly.com. The real important thing is whether or not, and I want to emphasize the 2 words, or not. Vice President Biden, then Vice President Biden, derived money from his son and brother's activities. Did he get money? I don't see a smoking gun yet. Do you have one?
Well, I see smoke. Okay, for example, we have emails from Hunter where he's emailing his daughter saying that, unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary.
Yeah, but that could be hyperbole. You know him.
I understand. Again, it's smoke. The other thing is, this John Solomon reported this. The vice president reported making $16 million once he left office, but then his financial disclosure, he only disclosed his assets of $3.2 million. Where did the money go? And he also doesn't tell us exactly where that $16 million came from. I mean, could that be some of the money that was disclosed in those 1023 forms.
Well, I got to get a subpoena for that.
So again, we have plenty of smoke out there.
Right.
We have a smoking gun? Not yet, but there's not been a thorough investigation.
Would you do me a favor? And so I know you're busy, but sometime today, if you can get Comer and Jordan's attention, would you please tell them to subpoena Fatima Graves, the wife of Matthew Graves, the U.S. attorney in Washington, and ask her under oath what the deuce she's doing in the White House 28 times? I mean, what is that?
Absolutely. Listen, if I were doing the investigations, I would have subpoenaed a lot more people than have been subpoenaed so far. But again, they want to get the documents before they do the interviews. You know, these investigations, it's a process. It takes time. It's not real easy.
I know. But when you have that coincidence that the word conduit, you see, they're never going to put this stuff in writing. Right. But if this woman is carrying information from the Justice Department, remember, her husband works with Merrick Garland in the same building in D.C. She's carrying information from them over to Biden, and then Biden administration back to the Justice Department. I mean, come on.
Bill, it's the exact same thing Anthony Blinken used his wife for. She was the one emailing Hunter Biden, but Anthony Blinken slipped up and emailed Hunter himself when it came to Blue Star Strategies and some of the Burisma things. So again, it's a tried and true method that they use, you know, their spouses to be the conduits. So no, I will definitely bring your column up to the attention of Comer and Jordan.
Yeah, we sent it to him, but I know everybody's busy, but you got to, now is the time to focus on this thing. I mean, really micro this thing. As you know, I think you know, the Democratic Party is really worried about this. They're really worried that Biden's going to get taken down by this.
Well, they should be worried, but again, they can always rely on the mainstream media, the complicit.
Yeah, but you can get as I said, if you impeach Merrick Garland, they have to cover that story. And then all of the evidence against Merrick Garland is put forth into the public arena. That's how you do it.
Right. Impeachment hearings are very important. You want to have lay the predicate, have as much documentation before those hearings. And that's what they're trying to attain.
All right. You know, Senator, it's very nice of you to come on. We know how busy you are. You're welcome anytime. I'm going to stay honest because, look, it's my job. And I know the other media doesn't do their job anymore. I understand the corruption in the media. It's unprecedented in this country right now. But we're going to stay on it. And it's very nice of you to give my audience. And remember, our audience is worldwide now, Senator. We got 300 radio stations. We got DirecTV. We got The First. We got distribution on Facebook. I mean, we're a colossus now. And I don't think people in Congress understand that. So we want to funnel information through somebody who doesn't answer to Comcast or Warner Brothers Discovery or CBS. I don't answer to anybody. And that's what we want to do. And it's very, very, and you're a patriot for coming on, explaining your point of view to the American people. We really appreciate it.
I understand. I appreciate your efforts. We need more investigatory journalists. We need more whistleblowers. We need people to come forward with the truth.
You need a John Dean inside the Biden White House. That's what you need. But I don't know if that'll ever happen. All right, Senator, we'll talk again soon, I hope. Thank you very much.